As for me, I've been asked to talk about opportunities and challenges, and I talk about it, I think, in a bit of a broad brush. So let me say a word about my organization so you understand where I come from. I do represent the U.S. Department of Commerce in Washington, D.C., but as David mentioned, based in India, in New Delhi. My organization, the U.S. Commercial Service, is the export promotion arm of the U.S. government, supporting American companies wherever they go overseas in the markets they explore and where they build their partnerships. And in my personal capacity, I act as the ambassador's chief advisor on commercial affairs. Happily in India, I'm blessed with a team in 7 of the largest cities in India. The goal of my team clearly is to assist American companies wherever we are. And in the case of India, there are so many crucial ties to be pursued, as President Obama and Prime Minister Singh so clearly articulated last November. In our jobs, we are pursuing a vision of President Obama that is called the National Export Initiative. And through this NEI, National Export Initiative, our goal in working with American business is to double our exports. In the case of India, I wouldn't even mind tripling our exports and sustaining jobs in the United States, but in so doing, building dynamic business relationships with partner countries as they build their economies, their infrastructure, and their jobs. So with these goals in mind, it's clear to me that India is a crucial and exciting business partner for the United States. Right now, India and American commercial ties bilaterally total approximately $48 billion, nearly $50 billion. And in the last 6 months of this year, we've achieved $28 billion of two-way trade. So we're on a pace to increase exports between each other by about 16%, getting up to about $56 billion this year. I'd like to say some of that was in the civil nuclear side, but that's still to come. In the context of this robust trade environment, I believe civil nuclear holds significant commercial opportunities for the future of both American and Indian companies. India clearly has registered impressive growth over the past few decades, and in order to maintain the economic growth of this country, India has to maintain its energy supply, and it has to grow at an even faster rate. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, nor that other speakers haven't commented on. In fact, Dr. Malhotra before made reference to the fact that India could face an energy deficit, a significant energy deficit. DIE has estimated this at possibly up to 412 gigawatts by 2050. And that's a situation you as an industry face and perhaps can address. That estimate of the huge shortfall is based on a per capita consumption rate of 5,000 kilowatts per year. And that is something that potentially can happen. So certainly one way to bridge the gap is through civil nuclear power. As you heard Dr. Malhotra also say, that with that this projected gap could be bridged with 40 gigawatt capacity light water reactors if they were imported during the 2012 to 2020 period. The expected growth in the import of reactors and fuel is one of the largest civil nuclear business opportunities in the world today. So it's quite clear that nuclear energy is very likely to be a key element in India's future energy mix. And U.S. companies are keen to play a partnership role in the process and to assist India and Indian companies to resolve its energy issues in both the conventional sector and in the civil nuclear sector. And through nuclear energy, India will achieve clean power, but it comes with a set of challenges, as well as opportunities. The principal challenge as addressed by this particular forum today can be summed up in 3 words. Safety, safety, safety. Safety has always been the watchword of the nuclear power industry, and in the aftermath of Fukushima, clearly overcoming safety concerns is the #1 key factor in determining whether civil nuclear energy will continue to be the business opportunity we've predicted in the coming decades. So in this regard, I am happy to note that the Indian government has been clearly focused and strategizing on the area of nuclear safety in the past few months. This focus very important to the successful acceptance of nuclear power in the future and for smooth operations in this industry for the generations to come. However, more can be done, not only to address safety, but to promote the growth of India's civil nuclear sector. As the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary Jeff Hyatt mentioned earlier before lunch, he talked about those headline issues, the ones that keep policymakers up at night, and which are clearly in the forefront of those determined to bring about the deployment of nuclear power in India. However, I hope to just touch on some other issues that will affect nuclear supplier companies and which also need attention to achieve growth. Here are a few of them. One is speedy construction of projects by standardization, including a higher level of mechanization and construction and strengthening measures for project management. Another area, finding financial resources for capacity addition. This could include suppliers' credits, long-term infrastructure borrowing, allowing pension funds and other long-term investors to enter the nuclear financing market, and strategies such as joint ventures with both cash-rich private sector companies and government-owned companies. In addition to financing, a third area, focusing on future enhancement of performance and safety of the nuclear power plants currently in operation. This could include adopting frontline information technology, improved techniques for predictive maintenance, and in-service inspection and component replacement. Another area is clearly something of interest to all companies, and that is creating awareness, general awareness by the Indian public of the issues surrounding nuclear safety, particularly communicating frankly and meaningful information on the safety mechanisms that are in place. This communication strategy is something that should be seized by all. And finally, we know that India aims to achieve an installed capacity of 20 gigawatts by 2020. Given the difficulties with land acquisition, new technologies may need to be considered, such as modular reactors to enable maximum utilization of available land, or perhaps utilization of existing thermal power plant land to set up civil nuclear power, as is done in the United States. Those are all areas where I think the industries working together can make progress as the policymakers continue their discussions. The performance of the indigenously constructed plants in the first stage of this country's nuclear power program demonstrates that India's nuclear power technology has reached a level of maturity. At this juncture, I believe India's civil nuclear industry can greatly benefit and move forward through collaboration with the U.S. industry, including the companies that have accompanied the ANS mission to this trade show today. Hoping to create relationships that build collaboration is the goal of my own organization, as I've mentioned. We started, as Mr. Hyatt mentioned, to bring many nuclear trade missions to India in recent years. My own organization sponsored 4 of them and also has worked with the U.S.-India Business Council to bring others. The first one in March of 2007. Most recently, in February of this year. This year's trade mission was featured the leadership of the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Gary Locke, who led a high technology mission, including a large number of delegates from the civil nuclear sector, many of whom have returned to this event today. In each of these cases, these trade missions have had very fruitful interactions with both NPCIL and DAE. I should mention at this time that during the trade missions and over the years, our friends from both DAE and NPCIL have been incredibly supportive and engaging. They offer great cooperation and show an eagerness to address the challenges and to develop a long and fruitful partnership with U.S. firm. We deeply appreciate this. Given India's ambitious targets for the growth of civil nuclear energy production, it's clear that nuclear energy is key to India's future plans for energy security. The U.S. government strongly supports India's efforts to achieve its nuclear goals. And U.S. Advisory Committee, this is called SINTAC. SINTAC was established to provide consensus on the development and administration of programs and policies to expand U.S. civil nuclear exports and to strengthen the competitiveness of our industry. I'm pleased that after this government panel, we'll have two SINTAC representatives here to give you their perspectives. One is Ed Wolbert of Transco Products, as well as Mr. Vijay Sazawal, Director of United States Enrichment Company, USEC. These are both experts in the nuclear sector, and the U.S. government appreciates their guidance as our own engagement globally is revived. The U.S. Commercial Service in India is pleased also to partner with UBM. It's one of the reasons we chose to certify this particular trade exposition and to support this particular event today. I want to thank Dr. Lowen, who I'm sure is in the audience. Hi, Eric, I was staring at you. Of ANS, and also Corey McDaniel from the Indian unit of ANS for working so well with us. You represent your industry well, and it's our pleasure to be able to support American business in India. So with that, each firm, large and small, from the United States, is playing an important role in the civil nuclear supply chain. It's dedicated to safe, clean, and sustainable energy. This is India's vision, it's our vision too, and I hope we can work on this together. Thank you.